So Caleb Wilson, UNC. There's a guy named Michael Jordan, UNC. Caleb Wilson, Bulls. MJ goes to the Bulls. Are there some shoes to fill with that?
I'm writing my own story, man. Honestly, I want to be better than Mike. Honestly, I know it's a lot to go, but I'm writing my own story for sure. I mean, I feel like it's a great pipeline from UNC to the Bulls, and I'm just ready to keep it going.
Thanks for tuning in to the Urban Scope podcast. I'm back with more NBA news, and of course, Caleb Williams said that he wants to be a better player than Michael Jordan, which we know is a very tall task, especially since he's from North Carolina like Michael Jordan, and he's playing in Chicago like Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan, for all the things that he's done for that organization and for the NBA, winning 6 rings, 6 championships, 5 league MVPs, 6 NBA final MVPs, the aura, the shoes, the style, the grace, the brand, everything that was Jordan. Even to this day, he hasn't played since the early 2000s. His shoes are still more relevant than they've ever been. So it's a legacy that he left, not just in Chicago, but around the league and the world, because he's a global brand. He still has players wearing his shoes. He has players being endorsed by his shoes. His shoe is everything for the league. Without Jordans, you just pretty much have Nikes and a couple other shoes out there. But for the most part, he has a monopoly on the shoes as far as that goes, because people are still wearing shoes that came out 30 years ago, and they're still wearing them, and they can drop them every week if they wanted to, and people are still going to buy them at a high level. So the odds are stacked all the way up against him. The likelihood of him being better than Jordan is very highly unlikely. So, I mean, it's a lot to say, but I guess as a player, you have to say those things to show the fan base that you're there for the right reasons. But I think Caleb Wilson, for him being able to be better than Jordan, there's a lot of things that have to go right. A lot of things have to go right early as well, because there are not a lot of pieces in Chicago for him to work around with. Because of course he was a high pick at number 4, but they have the draft lottery. So Chicago's one of the worst teams in the league, and they don't have a lot of pieces. So he has to get a lot of pieces around him early for them this to make sense. Because Jordan, when he was drafted, of course, he was number 3. He didn't have a lot of pieces around him until they got Scottie Pippen, and they started bringing in pieces like Steve Kerr and Dennis Rodman and Ron Harper and those guys, and they officially got a team. But for the most part, Jordan didn't have a lot of pieces early in his career. That's why he could put up 32 points a game and put up 28 as a rookie, because they didn't have a lot. But I think Chicago will mostly have to rebuild through the draft, because they're not going to be able to get any acquisitions from trades or signings, because they don't have a lot of pieces to trade, and then they don't have a lot of people that's willing to go as a free agent to Chicago right now. Maybe if Caleb Wilson puts up great numbers and shows a lot of promise, like a Wemby type promise, maybe players, free agents will be willing to go over there, or even trying to get traded over there, because right now it's just a dumpster fire. Not just with the Bulls, but with Chicago Sky as well. But I talked about that before. But Jordan was able to bring in those free agents, like we talked about, because of his skill set. He had Scottie Pippen with him. Even before Scottie Pippen, people were like, wow, this guy is averaging 28 as a freshman. He had the Jumpman logo. He had the tongue out. He had all these different great things. So they were willing to play with a great player like that. But I don't see nobody doing it in Chicago right now. And Caleb won't win until he get a wingman or somebody else to come along with him, because he's not going to take over the league and, be able to do what, nobody has ever done before, to solo go out there and win a title, not in your rookie season at least. You can make an argument that Dwayne Wade did it. You can make an argument that LeBron did it several times, which LeBron has done it, but he didn't do it in his freshman year. It took a couple years. But I think Caleb would have to go through a few bad years to eventually get established and get to a point where he can win at a high level, because I think free agency for them, not free agency, but the NBA draft will be key for them, because I don't think you'll get free agents. But if they can get free agency, that's an X factor in all of this, that they can get a Kawhi Leonard, or they can get one of these stars to flip from a team to just come over. Because I think right now, Trae Young for them would be phenomenal. even if they can just take a chance on John Morant. But putting him in Chicago when he was doing crazy stuff in Memphis might not be the best fit for him. But if he can change his mindset and play with a player like Demanza, I think it'll be phenomenal because it's be similar to Triple J and what he had. Because Caleb Williams' skill set, his leaping ability, his explosion pause on the court is, is rare. Even though he was injured for a part of the season, college season last year, I think he did a phenomenal job in just showing what he could do. But like I said before, he needs he needs a great point guard or a great guard, and he needs another great big player to go alongside him. And I don't think he'll get that within the next couple of years unless it comes through the NBA draft. Um, but then, of course, they would have to be a bad team for them to even get a chance at that. But with the draft standards changing, you might not have to be a bad team anymore. But it won't be easy, and the league is probably the most competitive that we've ever seen it. So it's going to be, you have to do it in an even more difficult league than even when Jordan did it because there's no more super teams. So there's more parity spread out through the league. Uh, the super teams pretty much went away when the Warriors dismantled their team with Kevin Durant and Steph, Clay, and Draymond. So you don't have that anymore. And then the large money doesn't allow for those super teams anymore because all these max contracts, you can't have 3 players making $70 million a year or $60 million a year. It's not going to work without these organizations having to pay that luxury tax. And a lot of owners not want to go pay that luxury tax without guarantees. And that's a championship, which you can't really guarantee. So he's going to need a lot of luck, a lot of health, and a lot of patience to surpass Michael Jordan. And even then, some people might not do it because LeBron has, 4 rings, and some people say, well, he didn't get 6 like Jordan. Um, so it's going to be difficult for you to be able to do it, but he's going to have to do something revolutionary that no other player has done. So tell me your thoughts about Caleb Williams being better than Michael Jordan eventually. And until next time, see you next time.